Mother Teresa, one of the noble souls of the globe and who stayed in Calcutta for long, someone went and asked her, we want to run an anti-war demonstration and we repeatedly calling you, you never join us, madam, and all that. Then she said, I will never participate in anti-war demonstration, but if you have a pro-peace rally, I will lead the rally. So there is a difference in being, does anti-war means you are at peace? Not at all. It only means that there is no war. So similarly, the same logic applies. If you are not ill, are you well? If you are not diseased, are you healthy? So that is a question asked, and WHO has answered it in their own definition of health. They said it is not merely absence of disease, but it is physical well-being, mental well-being, social well-being, and even spiritual well-being. And that only constitute health and wellness. So, in extension of this concept, that shift from focus on pathology and disease to wellness, which is a combination of Greek and Latin. Salus and Genesis together became salutogenesis, and the father of this term is Aaron Antonovsky, 1923-1994. He is a medical sociologist, lived in UK for a long time, where many of you come from, and he coined this term in 1968 because he did a study of Nazi Holocaust survivors and found that several people came out without mental scarring, physical scarring, emotional scarring, and continued to be well, whereas many others had extreme trouble. So he did a group analysis and found that some of them survived all these horrors because they have this wellness embedded. So he suggested that our focus in medicine has been on this homeostasis. In physiology, everything is stable. System keeps going and in a static format, and then if that is upset, you get illness is what the patient feels, disease is what the doctor diagnoses, sickness is what society gives the label. So the individual gets illness, disease and sickness if this happens. So this is the focus of most of the teaching in modern medicine. Whereas to go from here to health is salutogenesis or wellness. In spite of all the various difficulties, you can still be well. So that is a hypothesis or principles enunciated by Aaron Antonovsky, and he further clarified that pathogenesis focuses on what causes disease, salutogenesis what causes health. Pathogenesis is about avoiding problems, avoiding cancer, avoiding heart disease, avoiding diabetes, whereas salutogenesis is about reaching your full potential. Pathogenesis, disease or illness, is an anomaly, whereas salutogenesis is all human beings and all living things are inherently flawed. We are prone for various diseases or illnesses or difficulties in life, and we have to be well in spite of that. So this is reactive, absence of disease, whereas salutogenesis proactive, for presence of health. And pathogenesis works against pain or loss. Salutogenesis for gain and growth. Pathogenesis prepares one to live, whereas salutogenesis, how to live fully. It is not just existence, it is not living. So how to live full life. So now medicine is increasingly focused on origin of illness, and equally important to ask is what is origin of health and wellness. And so Antonovsky said, based on the studies of Nazi Holocaust survivors, unstressed people were more resistant to illness than those who were stressed. And he said this unstressed coping behavior is due to what he called a sense of coherence. That is, they have a coherent concept of life, and that is the heart of being well or feeling well. That is, I have, or each of us should have our own pervasive, long-lasting, dynamic feeling of confidence that we are well, and whatever happens in our internal or external milieu is manageable by us. So, and high probability that we will come out successfully whatever is the problems and challenges. So this is what Antonovsky said, the pervasive, long-lasting, dynamic feeling of confidence. So sense of coherence, initially when he said nobody believed, but the study has been done in about 42 countries, more than 70 studies, and all of them uniformly have found that whatever Antonovsky said is true and has been validated repeatedly across cultures, across countries, across this past 3-4 decades. Some terminology, there may be some differences. I am sticking to the original terminology given by Antonovsky. And he further dissected this sense of coherence and said, basically, it involves 3 things. My world is understandable to me, so that is comprehension based on cognition. My world is manageable by me, that is coping skill of the individual to the problems faced. My world has meaning to me, so that I can live a full life, that is to give a motivation. So one is the brain thinking part, other is the managing ability to manage, and third one is internal motivation. And the best example I can give, because I am a physician and Professor AK is a surgeon, we have one of our major duties earlier was to break bad news. When a cancer patient comes or somebody has a heart attack and is doing very badly, when we break the bad news, the client, how he changes, no? Because till then, the whole world, he's a busy executive, earning well and 6-figure income and coming in car and whole life, everything is planned. And you suddenly say that you got pancreatic cancer, you will got 3 months to live. You can see the sense of incoherence. Suddenly the world is not understandable, they don't know how to manage with this, and the world has lost its meaning. So this is a best example. When we break bad news, we have repeatedly seen this. Suddenly the coherent life suddenly becomes incoherent, and lot of suffering is due to this. And I think we understand what Antonovsky meant. So the meaning alone, he is further dissected. I am not going through the full paper, it is available on the net. Anyone wants to see, you can download and read the full article by Antonovsky. Meaning, purpose of life, our own life, values in our own life, our own self-efficacy and self-worth. These are the 4 elements that give meaning. This appears abstract. I will give a concrete example in form of a story. My main thing as a physician is to try and coax people to give up smoking. I am telling you about 30 years back, and in India everybody was puffing away. So this old man said, even if I die 10 years earlier, it doesn't matter. I'm retired now, I'm 67. I don't mind dying in 5 years' time, but I cannot give up my smoke. I must have my 20 cigarettes a day. So I tried all sorts of tricks. He's an educated man, retired college principal. So you can't, talk to him like a baby. But what I noted is every time he used to bring his grandson with him, he was very attached. One day I just asked him when he was going out, see, when you will pass away in 10 years, 20 years time, do you want your grandson to remember you as, in Tamil we call it cigarette tata, or it means his smoking grandpa in English. Do you want him to remember you as a smoking grandpa? Then just as he walked out. Then next time when he came, he said, that last word you said, doctor, it really touched me. That night I sat and thinking, and I destroyed all my cigarettes. I have not smoked since. Because all our medical advice didn't, but the meaning of grandpa-grandson relationship, I just put this 6 bark there and it got higher like that. So I have used several tricks like that for different patients. For this man, the life's meaning suddenly became obvious when he said, do you want your grandson? So like that, each of us have a soft spot which gives meaning to the life, and it is for the physician to use it to motivate them or to give some life some meaning. So This concept is not abstract, it is very practical, down to earth, and a smart physician or a thinking, mindful doctor can use it. This comprehension, meaningful and manageable. I'll give two more examples. Early bronchiectasis. So for those of you who are not to medicine, bronchiectasis is where lung airways get dilated, become bigger, and so the mucus that is normally produced in the lung cannot be coughed out by itself. Normally there is a brush border like a conveyor belt that keeps pushing it up every day. So when we sleep and it always comes out. But in these people it gets stuck inside. And so they have to use gravity to bring it up, upside down position like Sirashasana or Sarvangasana they have to do and bring it down. So this, all I did is told this chap, this is your problem, you can cope with that, you do daily Sarvangasana and bring it out and you can live a normal life. And I routinely tell everybody, but I went to bank 3 years back and found that chap, now he is now 35. He said, sir, all my friends with similar problem in the respiratory clinic, they have died and gone. They got a heart problem, carpulmonary and all that, and they have died. I am still alive. And he is ascribed the whole thing thanks to me. I didn't invent all this. No? Yoga, Sarvangasana was written thousands of years back. All I did was gave him a comprehension of what is wrong with him, gave a manageable solution. Stand upside down and get out your sputum, and the meaningfulness in his life. So with that, he was able to cope. So like that, the other one is much simpler. This is a muscular disease, and the father and the pediatrician thought it was a serious form. And Becker's myopathy is a milder form. They thought it was Duchenne myopathy. So the minute the label was made, the walking boy suddenly went on to bed, refused to go to school, and then they came to me. I said, this is a milder form, he'll live till 45, 50, don't worry and all that. Then the minute we gave comprehension, meaningful, and the life became meaningful, the boy started walking. And I met him, he is now manager in a bank. He is now 35 or something. So, cardiac surgery and all great things are no great. But even with just simple approach that Antonovsky taught us, people with disease also, if they comprehend, if they find life meaningful and if they have manageable solutions, they become well and they can have a normal lifespan. So, the basic thing is, the modern doctors must shift from what did I do to treat the disease or illness to what did I do to create health and wellness. Did I give comprehension, meaningfulness and manageable solutions to my patient to create health and wellness. So this is the shift that we are trying to achieve through yoga therapy and also through this repeated talks in different places about shifting to salutogenesis from pathogenesis. I have taken it as a personal mission. Wherever I go, I speak about this. So that is the second part. So my dream is Mahatma Gandhi Medical College Hospital becomes an optimal healing center and incorporates yoga therapy in a big way to achieve that. So for that we need the cooperation of clinicians. This is a paper 2014, still hot research area. How to create not only curative health centers but make them optimal healing centers. So they call it OHE, Optimal Healing Environment. So it is not just curative, it can go beyond that. So the modern research has shown, this is just an extension of the same paper which I showed, which is downloadable. There is the internal dimension which they call as the internal domain, interpersonal dimension, behavioral dimension and external dimension that contribute to optimal healing. And if a hospital believes that healing is as important as curing, they have to adopt these principles. I'll just say each domain and how yoga can contribute. Internal domain, that is developing healing intention. First of all, the patient, the client must want to get better, should have hope that his life is good and all that. So the understanding, belief, hope, expectation, whatever salutogenesis, that meaningfulness, comprehension, manageability, that is internal. And experiencing personal wholeness, that is body, mind and spirit should feel well. So this is exactly what yoga attempts through mindfulness and through wholeness, holistic approach. So it definitely yoga and yoga therapy can contribute to internal domain of optimal healing environment. Second, interpersonal domain, that is with the therapist, healing relationship between the therapist and the client. And organization itself create not only curative but go beyond to healing. So this involves communication, compassion, social support, empathy, leadership, teamwork, technology, etc. And yoga therapist, because that is innate, the yoga itself, all the various lokas and everything, the Guru-Sishya relationship extends to therapeutic relationship also. And it promotes holistic healing. Third one, behavioral, that is practicing healthy lifestyle and applying collaborative medicine. So diet, exercise, relaxation, integrative, person-centered, culturally sensitive. So through sattvic lifestyle and ability to integrate well with modern medicine, and this yoga therapy can be a good adjunct to go beyond cure. Professor AK does the curative surgery and then Anand takes care of the healing part. And fourth is external, that is a building, healing spaces, color, light, various other things. So you may not really like sitting in the air-conditioned room, but I think being cool is better than being hot and sweaty. Fostering ecological sustainability. So yoga therapist attends to this through promotion of sattvic guna and symbiosis with nature. So therefore what I am trying to say, ladies and gentlemen, is optimal healing environment is possible if we adopt yogic practices and yoga therapy maneuvers and bring it within the ambit of modern medicine to create a homogeneous, patient-centered healing environment. It is possible, can be done. And I think we have to do a spider for NGMCR. So this is a spider graph showing the various factors from where zero is here and fully attained, 70% is here. So we can draw the individual also in the organization. How far they have developed in personal wholeness, healthy relationship, and these various domains, internal domain, interpersonal domain, behavioral domain and external domain. Ideally it must be fully expanded, but it is impossible to be uniform, so we can develop in certain areas and then try to cover up the deficiencies. The spider graph is very useful to follow an individual patient, how they progress, how they improve along the path of healing. Another paper, preventive is don't do certain things, promotive is do certain good things. Promotive, do's and don'ts, protect against pathology. But health goes beyond just mere absence of pathology. Another example is up to 40% of illness coming to primary care are ill but they don't have any pathological basis. What you call as MUS, medically unexplained symptoms. They have lots of symptoms but all tests are normal and they have no disease. What do you do with them? So yoga therapy is ideally suited for them. Lifestyle-based wellness choices can maximize positive life experiences. That is the essence of practice of salutogenesis, which make life worth living by giving joy, vitality, serenity, happiness, self-actualization, and self-worth, self-image, etc. And yoga is an ancient set of integrated physical, mental, and spiritual practices that promote wellness or salutogenesis. Thank you.